Hi, my name is Dennis Lawson, President of the Washington State Council of Firefighters. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for taking the time to check in on our legislative update. I wanted to give you a little information regarding a Left 1, Left 2 proposed merger. Many of you probably have heard that either through your executive board, through your state council district rep, or probably even from a retired member who's called and started inquiring, asking what's going on. Let me just tell you right now, this situation is fluid. Its situation is changing on the hour, and our board, our legislative team, is engaged to the fullest extent. On the 28th of February, myself, along with a lobbyist from Walkoffs, was called into the office to meet with Senator Vandeweghe. At that time, we were put forth and handed a proposal, maybe a concept would be a good word, of what a merger of Left 1 and Left 2 would look like if the state was going to move forward. Lots of numbers were thrown out, as far as at least on the piece of paper. No agreement was reached, and I think that's important for all of you to understand. We're going to be an active participant. We are going to be engaged in this process. If we were to simply stay out of it, things are going to happen to us. And so our commitment is to always have your best interest at heart. We're going to continue to work through the process. I've been in contact with the Left 1 Coalition as well as the Retired Firefighters of Washington. I've made it very clear that we are not in support of the concept proposal as written, because it violates our resolution 16-22, which outlined 10 basic principles that we must insist upon if the state is going to move forward on merger. Currently, the initial plan violated some of those principles. Now, this doesn't mean that the state can't move forward or the state should not move forward. It simply means that it did not meet what we put out, and what we put out was adopted by our delegates at our convention. Again, we're going to continue to monitor this on the hour and try to stay up as much as possible and be involved. We've committed to working with other stakeholders, to be engaged with Senator Vandeweghe, and we'll stay on top of it and try to provide the best information back to you as soon as possible. I would ask all of you to make sure you just take a deep breath. We'll see what's going to happen. Nobody knows really right now what's going to be put down in the next couple of hours or in the next week, but be assured that your legislative team, Bud Sizemore, A.J. Johnson, Nick Gullickson, Greg Markley, Dean Shelton, and myself, we're going to stay on top of this. So I want to say thank you for taking the time. Check back in. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, call me, or anybody else on the Ledge team. Thanks for your time.
Hello, A.J. Johnson here, coming to you from the Washington State Council of Firefighters office in Olympia, giving you a legislative update. A few things have changed since the last time we spoke. House Bill 1909, L&I confidentiality, which would limit the amount of information your employer can see when you file a PTSD claim through L&I. It's passed out of the House 97-0 and now goes to the Senate Labor and Commerce Committee. House Bill 1913, which is our presumptive disease expansion, adding 5 cancers, was passed out of the House last week on a 89-5 vote, and now also heads to the Senate Labor and Commerce Committee. House Bill 1575, which is known as the Janus Cleanup Bill, would allow us to continue to deduct members' dues through automatic paycheck deduction and allow our employers to remit them back to our locals. As a bill required by the new Janus law, so it just kind of helps us to continue to operate legally. Senate Bill 5355 is a bill that allows firefighters and law enforcement officers that were initially put into the PERS system incorrectly, allows them to be able to transfer those PERS credits into LEF credits and still receive a LEF pension.
Okay, we've reached a point in the session where a lot of bills have not made it through the appropriate process. If you recall the last update, we mentioned some of the cutoff dates which required bills to pass certain milestones. Just for summary, February 22nd was the policy cutoff committee, so any bills that had to go through a policy committee had to be out of those committees by February 22nd. And then March 1st, last Friday, was the cutoff for fiscal committee. So if the bill had any fiscal impact, they had to be out of those committees by by March 1st. Not sure when you guys are going to see this. And then the next upcoming cutoff that we have is March 13th, which is all the bills that were considered in the House. All the House bills have to be out of the House, off the floor, voted off the floor, and sent over to the Senate. And the opposite, of course, is true for any Senate bills. They have to be off the Senate floor and sent over to the House by 5 o'clock on March 13th. So a couple of bills that we've been working on this year in the wildland related area. There was a proposal for rangeland fire associations that has been around for a couple of years. It has been modified several times, but still is not something that the State Council can support. That bill made it through the policy cutoff and almost made it through the fiscal committee cutoff, but did not. So it has is considered dead at this point. But House Bill 1894 was a bill related to the Wildland Fire Advisory Committee. That was updated and amended to include further study on rangeland fire associations. So we expect to be doing some work during the interim with DNR to make sure that that study considers all the issues that we have with rangeland fire associations. Another bill in that area, Senate Bill 5010, is a bill that excuse me, provides annexation options for unprotected lands. That bill has made it all the way out of the Senate and is scheduled for a hearing in the House Local Government Committee this upcoming week. Another area that we worked on and spent a lot of time this year was a proposal for an ambulance quality assurance fee. And the concept was putting a fee or tax on every transport by both public and private entities, pooling that money at the state level and adding some federal dollars, and then getting that money back out to providers, transport providers, for an increased Medicaid reimbursement. The bill had some flaws in it. We were not supportive of it and had some concerns. We were worried about some unintended consequences related to GEMT, and also it failed to have proper assurances that we wouldn't have delays from the private ambulance companies when it came to in the field emergency responses. Kind of the last bill that I'll update you on is House Bill 2051 and Senate Bill 5920, which are companion bills. They were brought forward by the Left One community in order to provide for good clarification of what members can serve on pension and disability boards, as they have difficulty providing members of Left One into those boards. It allows for Left Two members that live in a jurisdiction but didn't necessarily work in that jurisdiction to serve on those boards. So an area that we're trying to help out and take care of those that came before us. So that's kind of a wrap up on the areas that I'm working on this week.